Let me show you something. This is a complete new session. I haven't told it anything today. I'm just asking what it knows about me. And look at the answer. It knows my job, my training goal, even how I like my week planned. And this isn't the app's memory settings doing that. It's reading a folder I built myself. And today I'm going to show you exactly how. Last video I promised you something. One AI system, one folder, one brain. For my job, my personal life and my business. This is me actually building it inside Cowork with no code. And by the end, it's going to remember something I tell it, without me reminding it next time. And there is no template to download here. No file to copy. You're going to watch the whole thing get built. Let's go. First we're going to open the Claude desktop app. And we're going to go to Cowork. And we're going to choose the folder to work in. I've created one empty folder that I'm calling AI HQ, and we open it. A quick tip is that you can flag this or set as default. So every time you open Claude, it's going to be in this folder. This folder is going to be the home for everything. My job, my personal life, and my business. And instead of me writing all these files myself, I'm going to send Claude one message and let it build the whole thing for me. I'm not going to read the whole thing out loud. You can pause here and read it, and I'll put the full prompt in the pinned comment, so you can just copy it. But the shape of it matters. The top half is what to build, the bottom half is the rules for how it grows. And the most important line right at the end, interview me first, ask me what you need. There is no spec doc and no checklist I filled in beforehand. And now my favorite part, it interviews me. And it's not just asking in the chat, it gives me an actual form, checkboxes, a notes field. And I can always just type my own answer instead. And it asks me 4 things. Who I am and what I spend my day on. How I want it to work with me. What I want help with. That's where my training went in. And my race that I'm racing next June, and what the startup is. 4 forms, about 2 minutes of my time. And then it just built the whole thing. You can see the folder, every file, every subfolder, exactly the pattern from the prompt. But here's what I want you to notice. 4 questions, and not one of them was about my family, or how I sound when I write. So I just tell it, no form needed. I'll type it like any message. A few important things you need to ask about. My family always comes first, no matter what I'm working on. Put that at the top, and when you write from me, it should be casual, short sentence, and for customers, it should be professional, but never stiff. And if you wonder how I do this voice to text, I use an app called Whisperflow. It's linked in the description. And there it is, the family time, in bold. At the top of who I am. Almost word for word what I just typed. You never limit it to the forms. The most important stuff, just tell it, and it becomes the file. And this is the part I really want to show you, because this isn't a setting somewhere inside the app. It's a text file inside the folder. I can open it right now and read exactly what the AI think it knows about me. By the way, I'm opening these files in a free app called Obsidian. It's just because it makes them nicer to read. You don't need it. Any notes app open these files. I just think this looks better. This is CLAUDE.md. It reads this before every single thing I ask it to do. And I kept it short on purpose, under 200 lines. That's not my number. That's Anthropic's own guidelines. Past that, the AI actually starts following it worse. And here's the voice line from the notes. 1 line in the text file, but very short. Oh, and a quick tip while we're here. If you're connected to Gmail, you can go one step deeper. Ask Cowork to read your last 30 sent emails and pull your real writing patterns into this file. The interview answer is the quick version. The Gmail is far better. And down here, the rule from the prompt. Look at this. A new area gets its own folder, its own Claude.md. Same pattern. That one line is why this never turns into a mess. Every new thing I add later, a project, a trip, a client, gets built the exact same way. The system knows how to grow. And this one is almost empty right now, the MEMORY.md. The things it learns about me over time, and every folder gets its own memory file too. Same pattern, one level down. Keep an eye on these files. They are going to fill up. And a quick note, because people always ask this. Yes, I split it into different files per area. Work stuff stays in work, training and family stuff stays in personal. The business stays in the startup. That way, my work never leaks into my training plan. The building part is easy. The real question is whether it remembers any of this on its own next time. So let's test it properly. I'm closing this session completely and opening a brand new one in the same folder. What do you know about me and what can you help me with? There it is, my work, my business, my training, and right here at the top, family comes first. I didn't say a word about myself just now. It read the folder. And look at this, it even tells me on its own that the memory files are still empty. That fills in as we work. Hold on to that line. That's the whole last part of this video. If that just clicked for you, as it clicked for me, hit subscribe. Because next week, I build this exact same system in Claude Code, and it remembers on its own. Okay, it knows me, but the folder with text files isn't a system yet. So let me show you what actually makes this useful. 3 things. You feed it, you connect it, and you put it on a schedule. 1. You feed it. This folder is 20 minutes old, but my life isn't. I already have a training program, so I just drop it in. And that's how it works for anything. Bank statements, meeting notes, whatever belongs to an area. The folder gets smarter because you give it your real stuff. And now I can just ask, plan next week's training. That's the entire prompt. It knows the goals from the interview and it has the actual program from the file. So the plan actually fits. My session, my week, my race. And I didn't have to explain anything. 2. You connect it. And that's where it stops being a tool. Gmail, Calendar, Drive. You connect them once in the settings and Cowork can use them from inside the same folder. And that's my actual email it's reading. Same brain, same folder. It can just reach more of my stuff now. And here's where the voice line from the interview comes back. Draft a reply to a customer asking about a simple business website. And when I read the draft, it actually sounds like me, but I would get rid of the M dashes. It's casual, it's short sentence and professional, but not stiff. And this one is important. It's just a draft. It doesn't send anything. I read it, I fix it, I send it myself. That's another rule from the interview. Act on the small stuff, check with me before anything big. And 3, you put it on a schedule. Cowork can run tasks on its own and there are ready-made templates for it. A daily briefing every morning of what needs my attention across calendar, emails and messages. But I'm not setting that up today. It deserves its own video. But this is where a system like this is heading. None of this is magic. It only knows what's in the folder and what I connected. And that's the whole point. I can open every single file and read exactly what it knows. And I know what some of you are thinking. Doesn't Claude already have built-in memory? And yes, it does. There's a setting for it and it can pull from your chat history. Here's the difference. The memory lives inside the app. You can't open it. You can't read exactly what it's decided to remember, or move it, or hand it to a different tool. It's a black box, and it works at the conversation level. Now we reach the part I actually build this video around. Let me show you what happens when I teach it something, right in the middle of a task. Remember this, when you plan my training week, skip the card. Just give me a simple table right in the chat. And look at that. It wrote it down And not just anywhere. It put it in a personal folder. I never said where it should go. It knew, because there's where my training lives. One preference said out loud once. And a small detail I actually like. My rule said memories goes to the memory file, but it decided this isn't a fact about me. It's a rule how I want things done. So it put it in my personal CLAUDE.md instead. It made a judgment call, and honestly, it's the right one. That's not the real test. The real test is the next session. In a new chat, I'm not gonna remind it about the table, the card, or anything. I'm just gonna ask it to plan my training week. And there it is. Just a table, straight in the chat. No card. I never said that in this session. It just knew, because it read the personal folder file before it answered. That's it. That's the whole loop. Say it once, it remembers it forever. Well, or forever until I delete the file. But you get the point. One honest limitation, and it's a real one. Every single memory in that folder, I built it. Cowork didn't decide on its own to remember my training preference. I had to say, remember this. Nothing here happens automatically. And a quick word about sensitive stuff, because it matters. Client work lives in the work folder. Every client can get its own subfolder, same pattern at everything else. That's the whole point of the system. But whether your employee's data belongs in an AI system at all, that's their call, not your folder structures. So on work computer, follow their rules. And one more thing, Cowork works inside this folder. That's it. It can't touch the rest of your computer, which honestly, it's also why it feels safe to start here. So the system is only as good as what I actually tell it. That's the trade-off of something this simple, this readable, and this easy to build in one sitting. So that is my second brain. One folder built in an afternoon with no code. It knows my job, my life, and my business. It remembers what I tell it, and I can read every single word of it. But two things to remember. Nothing lands in those files unless I say it. And Cowork stays inside this one folder. Next week, I build the exact same system in Claude Code, and both of those change. It starts remembering on its own without me asking. And it's not stuck in one folder anymore. It can reach the rest of my computer. Quick question before you go. If you build something like this for yourself, what's the first thing you want your AI to actually remember about you? Drop it in the comments. I'll read them before I build the next one. Subscribe if you don't want to miss it. See you in the next one.